Russ Milheim from the Direct. Thank you for talking to me today about Hysteria.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
So yeah, as I said, I've seen the whole show now, so I'm ready to talk about it all of the secrets within season one.
Awesome.
Now, I wanted to just right off the bat ask, as I've said before, Dylan does some crazy stuff in this. So for you as an actor, did you ever find yourself like taking pause and having to kind of figure out how to justify some things Dylan was doing?
Absolutely. Because having a conscience, and being a Christian, it's hard having to say Hail Satan. You know what I mean? Like, and all that crazy stuff I have to do. But I just have to tell myself it's just make believe. You know what I mean? Like, it's all complete make believe. So I had to find a way to disassociate,
Do you think that that symbol in your hand is ever going to heal? Is
I
that going to
don't
be a
think so.
scar for the rest of
I
his
think
days?
it's gonna scar for sure, unfortunately. Dylan did it pretty deep.
Yeah,
He was
he
he was
was
pretty
quick.
whipped.
Now, yeah, all the stuff that you did for Judith and all that she does in return is eventually just bury you alive. So that was pretty rough.
Yeah.
What would you say was the moment that your crush for Judith was destroyed? Because I don't think it was the moment you were buried, but that could be
No,
wrong.
I think the moment my crush for her ended was, I think there was a couple little signs early on with having her wanting me to kill a cat, and I think during the dance scene when I asked her if she was gonna let me kill the cat, I think when she says yes, that really like, I really say, okay, you know what, this is it. She's crazy. I have to do this. And then she's like, come, follow me into the basement or whatever, and then of course as a teenager, I just shut everything out, and then 80s music starts playing and I just, so I think I still loved her at that point, but the part where I stopped was when she tried to murder me, I think the murders where or attempted murders where I started to come to my senses a little bit.
I mean, that's good that he has a little bit of that sense.
Yeah, a little bit of common sense, My dad told me common sense is not so common.
Can you talk about like filming that scene when you were getting buried alive? What was that like? How did you guys pull that off? And being in that coffin alone.
So when my mom read that script, or like that scene, she told me no matter how much money anybody paid her, she could never do it because that's just like her biggest fear in life is being buried alive. And I actually was buried alive. Like there was no faking that. They put me in a coffin in the ground and they put dirt on me and I literally got buried alive. And the creepiest part is I had like a flashlight and then the mirror too. So it was full on like I barely even had to act because that was definitely so scary. It definitely helped a lot.
And then they left you alone for like 5 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
At the end of the season, or by the end of the season, you and Judith don't actually get to have, any more one-on-one conversations. What do you think Dylan would say to her at this point?
Like you said, during the part where she's attempting to bury me, I'm still trying to talk to her and I'm still trying to say, hey, Judith, like, let me explain. I think he would just try to say that, I did all this for you and, I want to be with you and I'm, obviously willing to go through great lengths for you. But I think she wanted something more real when it comes to the cult stuff, and I'm definitely not as crazy, Satanist Mr. Crowley, so I wasn't who she wanted me to be, so
Yeah, you really goofed.
I did. I done goofed. I
I want to
done
jump
goofed.
into Dylan's headspace in that final episode, and kind of what was going through his mind because he didn't really have much time to process everything that had just happened with Judith, before getting tossed right into this whole drama with his mom.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot. And as an actor, there's a lot of stuff you have to do to play all of that emotion, because it's just, my character was having his whole world be, shattered, seeing his mother like that in that state. And there was a sense of guilt because it kind of almost was my fault in a couple ways. I definitely didn't help. It might not have been my fault entirely, but I definitely made it worse. I mean, I brought evil into the home and I amplified it and I let it take over my mother, so there was a lot of guilt, a lot of fear and mainly fear too because she's possessed and I'm actually seeing it that she is possessed right in front of me, because I think at first I was trying to just say like, oh no, she's not, but that's pretty strong evidence of actual possession. So
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to close your eyes when you see your mom over there with the whole exorcist thing going on.
What do you think,
And
Dylan?
actually,
Good.
sidebar, it was really funny to see her like walk around set because she would just forget that she's in that horrifying makeup. So like be at lunch and she'd just be eating, and I'm just like, oh gosh, she's like, what?
Well, why are you
It's
looking at
funny.
me that way? Oh,
Yeah,
oh, that's
literally.
right. What do you think? So what was Dylan? What did Dylan think was going to happen when he was standing in that awkwardly specific spot on that balcony? Because he was very game. He was like, I guess this is my moment. This is where I'm going to be. So how did he think things were going to go down?
He thought that he was going to be the anchor. He thought that he was going to pull his mother through, and he trusted. That's something that Dylan is naive. He's very, very naive. He just kind of does whatever. Oh, yep, okay, like he doesn't really think for himself very much, which I think says a lot for teenagers. People just want to be accepted, and they're willing to go to great lengths to be accepted, and I think that definitely shows for Dylan. Um, but yeah, I think yeah, but that's pretty good. Plays it pretty well.
What was it like filming that big church scene as things were going to chaos and things burned down? How did you guys do all that? I assume most of that fire wasn't real, but
Actually, it was pretty much all
oh,
real.
really? Okay.
Yeah, they built a full scale church and they tried to burn it down at the end of the day. But funny enough, God had other plans. He did not want the church to be burned down. He made it rain for like 2 days in a row, which was hilariously horrible. It was a total cluster F, because like they're all like trying to push it back and we were about to wrap and they're like having to shoot this and it was like super humid and stuff, so they had to really pour a lot of gasoline on that church. It did not want to burn. But of course it actually did and ended up looking really cool.
You got there in the end. Sorry,
Yeah,
God.
we got there in the end.
Do you think Dylan still believes that his mom's state and where she got to was his fault?
I think he knows it's not entirely his fault. I think at the end when he sees Tracy for who she really is, he starts to realize it wasn't just his fault, but it definitely was a lot his fault.
How do you feel Dylan grew the most from the start to the end of the season?
I'd say he starts thinking for himself, stops doing things blindly just for love, yeah, that's what I'd say. And also I think that his relationship with his friends grew a lot. I think I could learn to lean on my friends more, and I think that's a very important lesson in general to learn.
Now I have to ask the big question. Have you heard anything about a season two?
I haven't heard as much as you have, which is nothing. I'm just hoping that the show does well, and then we can be blessed enough with a season two. That'd be awesome.
I did talk
And
to
Matthew Scott Kane is just such an amazing writer, so I would love to see where this would go.
I did talk to Matthew, and he did mention that, he hopes he has a plan for like 4 seasons, which is a lot, right? That's a big story arc right there.
Yeah.
So, with that in mind, going forward, what do you think might be next for Dylan?
I actually have no idea. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I would love to see where it goes. I'm not too sure, I'm not a very good writer. I just kind of,
Do you
do
have
my
any
life.
ideas of like just even as a character, what would you want to explore with Dylan that maybe the first season didn't get to bite into too much?
I would like to explore maybe a relationship that isn't based on, the devil, something like that. I would love to do more band stuff because the one thing that bummed me out is when I first started the show, I didn't know how to play guitar at all. And now I could actually play pretty decently. I'm not like Randy Rhoads, but I could like play, I could play a couple songs. So towards like episode 8, I felt a lot more comfortable with the instrument stuff. So I would love to, have some more band stuff.
You're gonna be the next big rock star. All thanks to
Yes, sir.
Hysteria.
Hopefully. Yes, sir.
You know, they're a big ensemble cast, and you got to interact with most of the cast members in the show. Is there a cast member in particular that you kind of you wanted more scenes with, or would like some more scenes with in the future?
I actually never even met the Reverend or
Yeah.
any of those people. I never met the Reverend, Garrett. I never met any of them, like the whole crew. So I would like to have at least met them.
I mean, yeah, and he's
Oh,
great too.
actually, and then real quick, there was the talk show host in episode 1, I believe. His name is Craig in real life. He was the host who during like the hallucination scene where Linda saw Dylan like as the Satanist. He was actually our improv coach. That's something that Kiara and Kazai and I he was an amazing improv coach and before we started filming, we would get together, we'd do the band camp for like 5 hours a day and then 2 hours of improv. And that was a great thing for us to do. So we could like kind of build up our relationship, as a band and as, friends. So yeah, I would love to have some scenes with him. And I heard that he might like come, actually, I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil it, but he might hopefully be a part of season 2. And that'd be cool to have some scenes with him.
That would be neat. That would be neat. I mean, any more, I think, of Hysteria would be great. Uh,
Yes,
and
sir.
and you reminded me, I wanted to ask about it's that wild costume you got to wear in your mom's hallucination scene. What was that? How was that like? You got to put on like a whole new persona and
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. I got a pretty funny picture of that. No, it's always fun when you get to like wear these ridiculous costumes, like stuff that you would never wear in real life. It's always fun to just kind of, do random stuff like that. That's why my job is so cool and I'm so blessed.
did you have was it good anger management like towards the beginning of the season where you got to just smash stuff?
Actually, I was really nervous about that, because there was no resets on that, for obvious reasons. So that was a one take thing right there, and I was pretty nervous. But yeah, it was definitely good to just let it all out, and just kind of not act, and just let out your emotions, and get paid for it.
Right? Always the best time right there.
Yeah, I try to say I never like to cry unless I get paid to.
I have about two more questions for Hysteria, but I want to have a real quick side topic. You were in Krampus.
Yes, sir.
What are the odds that maybe one day we get to see that story continue? Where's our Krampus 2? And where
I
is it?
I would love that. I would love that. I actually Michael I actually just talked to the director Michael very briefly. I was at Halloween Horror Nights and I saw Seth Green, who's a good friend of his. So I exchanged some words and I got to send a picture of him. So I would love to do that. That would be absolutely amazing.
What'd you think of Halloween Horror Nights this year?
It was awesome. Oh my gosh, it was the scariest one. I know I probably say this every year, but it just gets scarier every year. Like they had like the weekend maze, even like that was like it was cool. It's just like they had so many cool things.
All right, well, back to Hysteria. Out of the season's all done. What are you most proud of with how everything turned out from your end?
Most proud of. I would say just everyone's performance. I think that everyone totally kicked a double hockey stick. I don't know if I can swear at all, but people did.
You're
Like
free. Do it. Do what you will.
everybody kicked ass, man. It was just such an amazing cast to work with, and I'm so blessed. The performances were just so strong, like from every single person, even down to like the smallest character. Like in episode one, like there was this cashier at like a Walgreens who like just like down to like the smallest character. Everybody just did so amazing. So that's definitely something I'm very proud of just to be a part of.
Yeah. And then for you, what was looking back on it? What was the hardest moment for you to pull off as an actor? Where did you struggle the most? Was it breaking all your stuff?
Mm. See, rage is not too hard for me, because you just got to be angry and stuff like that. Like I'm able to do that, but I feel like some of the crying stuff was pretty hard. Like when after I got buried alive, that was an intense scene. Um, yeah, I'd say probably being buried alive scene was the most challenging.
Well, thank you for talking to me about the show today. I look forward to where the show goes next. You got three long seasons. I don't know where Dylan's gonna go, but
Thank you very much, Russ. I appreciate that. Hopefully everybody can watch it and we can continue to make some more entertainment for you guys.